welcome back to another episode of Slightly Informed, rebranding as the Fuck Mayor Pete podcast.
Fuck Pete Pod.
Fuck Pete Pod. Follow us at Fuck Pete Pod.
FPP?
You know me?
There's been a common thread in the first couple episodes. We've noticed that we're not big fans of the South Bend mayor, and for good reason. Tonight we have the same three hosts. It is me, Nick, kicking it off, sending it over to McLean.
What's up, guys?
And John.
Hey, hey.
And we are bringing you another fantastic episode here. This week we are going to start off with none other than Pete the Rat himself, and a nice little clip from the New Hampshire debate. So let's kick it off with that.
Yeah.
Mayor Buttigieg, you have described yourself as a moderate, but one of your policies at least goes further than some on the stage with you are willing to go. You have called for the decriminalization of all drugs.
Good plan.
Does that include heroin, meth, and cocaine, some of the drugs that have contributed to this crisis?
No, what I've called for is that incarceration should no longer be the response to drug possession.
AKA decriminalization.
Mayor Buttigieg, on your website it says that you called for decriminalization of all drugs.
Again, what I'm calling for is that we end the use of incarceration as a response. This does not mean that it will be lawful to produce or distribute those kinds of harmful drugs. But also, as we know from the opioid crisis, some of this has been driven by companies that were acting irresponsibly with substance.
I don't think he understands.
That's the definition of the fucking word.
That's what
Like,
decriminalize means.
I think he's on drugs.
yeah.
Decriminalize Pete. But yeah, if you don't know, decriminalization means that it
You will
is
no longer be incarcerated for using that
for
substance.
use or carrying of a substance.
Yeah.
It does not legalize the distribution or production of drugs.
When we drop it, there's a pub divided on this topic.
Yeah, eventually we'll get around to it.
Deep dive.
Yeah, but yeah, that was one I like noticed glaring because I think I'm the only one at this table who's a masochist enough to watch the debate. But yeah, that was one where I was like, yeah, dude, that's the word. That's what the word means. Is you're not going to incarcerate the people. Like, what the fuck is he saying? He either doesn't know it or he's like so conniving that he knew Americans wouldn't be super down for that idea. So he's like, yeah, I have said that, but that's not what I meant.
Well, it's like I think he's trying to divide up like his what he's projecting because he knows that like on the internet the people who are finding their news that way are like people who are into that kind of thing. Like we've read up on it, we know that decriminalization's a good thing, but like on cable news it's gonna hit some mom in South Dakota who's like, my son, it's legal for him to carry cocaine in his pocket? No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I also think it's a thing in politics, too, where, like, you just say enough things that you can kind of target whatever you said towards the audience who wants to hear it. So, like, he could target this at the moms, and, like, the young tech kids who go to his website would be like, decriminalization? Tight, dude, tight. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, so it was just a weird thing I noticed in the debate that we had to talk about was, like, Pete not understanding the definition of word, even though he's a Rhodes Scholar. Like, he likes to remind people like any of us fucking care.
And none of us do.
Yeah, no.
Not at all.
No, definitely don't care. I honestly don't know what a Rhodes Scholar is. I know it's a big thing and it's a title.
I remember hearing it in The Mummy when she's like, I'm a Rhodes Scholar.
I
Oh,
thought
that's cool. That sounds smart.
when I was a kid, I thought it meant you got to travel and
Like on
study
the
stuff.
road.
Yeah, you
Study
could go on the
on the
road.
road.
Yeah.
Study the
And as an
roads.
adult, that still might be my best guess. 'Cause I don't know what the fuck it is.
If you want to correct us on this, please tweet at us.
Yeah. Let me know what
Everyone in
Rhodes
the
Scholar
world is about to tweet at us. Because they're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Hey, slightly informed, we're on brand.
If we ever get too informed, unfollow us. Then we'll have to rebrand.
I know it exists. I'm slightly informed about it.
This is as informed as we choose to be.
Did we have a second Pete Pot?
Pete clip? We do have a second Pete clip. Now, to preface this one, Pete decided to play word games like he usually does and say nothing in the most amount of words possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really good at dodging questions and really good at being just a rat in general. So here's to Pete. Second clip.
Explain the increase in black arrests in South Bend under your leadership for marijuana possession.
And again, the overall rate was lower.
No, there was an increase. The year before you were in office, it was lower. Once you became in office in 2012, that number went up. In 2018, the last year that we have a record for, that number was still up.
Yep. And one of the strategies that our community adopted was to target when there were cases where there was gun violence and gang violence, which was slaughtering so many in our community.
They're super predators
burying
out there.
teenagers, disproportionately black teenagers. We adopted a strategy that said that drug enforcement would be targeted in cases where there was a connection to the most violent group or gang connected to a murder.
That's enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that pivot is insane. Like, he broke his ankle pivoting that hard. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
When I think what you didn't see before that was that's like the second time she asked him the question. The first time he just tried to word salad it and say nothing. And yeah.
Actually, if you look at my record,
Yeah.
overall arrests
went down. Oh, but the question was about targeting black and Latino people.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, overall arrests went down. And then she like gets fucking fed up and pushes him a second time. And was like, dude, it actually went way up.
He
like,
tried
what's
to
the
word
fucking
salad
deal?
her a second time, and she was just like, no. And
Yeah,
the third word he said, she's like, no, actually, this is what happened.
Yeah.
And not only does like this means something, like if he says that overall arrests went down, if that is true, I haven't looked it up, that's 100% true.
That's so a dumb argument though, because that's saying like
that
then they went down
more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if the rate went up and you were targeting people less, you decided to stop targeting white
people and target black and Latino communities. Like that's the dumbest argument that he could have made.
And also he tries to pivot and like play like coy about it. He was like, well. He's like, we decided to start attacking gang violence,
which is the super predator,
which is already the super predator argument, which worked out really
that
well for
caved
President
on
Clinton
since the 90s.
Yeah. Don't you guys remember when Hillary won the election from talking about
yeah,
super predators?
exactly.
Yeah. Not only was that bad, but then he decides to like pivot. And he's like, which the gang violence disproportionately affects victims who are black or brown. It's like, no, we're talking about the people you're arresting. We're not talking about the people that are affected by the crime that you're going after. It's such a disingenuous pivot.
Maybe Pete has dementia too.
No, he's just
early onset.
He's like a conniving little shit. That's like
if anyone can contact us that's a Pete fan and tell us what he actually believes on a topic, we'd love it. We would love to hear something.
They say he's like America's favorite grandson. That's like a title he's gotten. And it's more like if you're our age, it's like your shitty cousin who sucks up to your grandparents and lies to them all the time.
The one whose name is in the will.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he spends every weekend over there telling them how cool all their stories are.
He fucking like snorts cokes and fucks hookers on the weekends, but he brings his Bible to Granny's house. Like that. That's who Pete is to me. He's just a lying little shithead.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so Pete, if you ever want to come on the podcast,
come on to the Fuck Pete pod, talk about your positions, and
fight us.
We fly to Boise, fight us.
Oh man, yeah, I just don't get the appeal. Like genuinely, like him and Klobuchar both do this to me, where I'm just like, who are these 13%? Like, have I met them? Would I recognize them in the street? Like,
I mean, we ran into one.
Oh, that's
rabid.
True. She was also super blasted.
She was so drunk. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. We were at a Democratic debate watch party for the third or fourth? I think it was the fourth Democratic debate. Like it was the one before the
first
Iowa
one that took 3 hours, and we just wanted to kill ourselves.
Yeah, it was terrible. And this lady is like, you know, she spends the whole time, she claps for all the big moments by any candidate. So she's just there having a good time, being a good old Democrat, you know, getting drunk.
I think she had a bottle of wine.
She did order a bottle for the table. The table was her and one guy sitting next to her.
And also the guy was drinking beer. So it was for her.
And the guy, oh my God, that was just for her.
Yeah, he had a beer, yeah.
The guy was funny too. He was just waiting, and like he had his arms crossed the whole time until the moderator asked a question about like what was it? It was reparations. She asked one question about reparations, and he like stands up and like does a full extended arm like clap, like good question to this room full of people who are just silent. It's like, okay, bro, we get it. You you're super intersectional, bro. Like, you definitely love black people.
Also, just because you mentioned reparations, Tom Steyer came out hard for reparations during the debate.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He's like, I'm the only one on this stage who's openly calling for reparations. Yeah, so Tom Steyer is trying to do something. I don't...
he's kind of, it's like weird. He's like the weirdest Bernie Sanders fan I've ever met.
Yeah,
like,
he's strange.
He likes Bernie. He's the person that
and
Bernie
I honestly
talks
don't
about.
hate Steyer. He seems like a nice enough
genuine
guy. He's just
like he's way more genuine than Pete is. He's a better Biden, you know? Like
he's a better, richer Biden.
Yeah, Biden with more money.
Biden's in it for the love of the game. Biden has no money.
No. He didn't even fucking do crime while he was there.
Usually these people just load their pockets up while they're destroying our democracy.
He was the poorest senator and he still gets corruption charges leveled against him. It's like,
I drove 250 miles each direction.
Yeah, why didn't
barely made ends
Up
meet.
a hill.
Go both ways.
At least you could respect the grift, but he's
not grift. He's just
he's just bad.
I'm here because I like meetings.
Yeah, exactly. I like saying things in front of cameras. So.
Makes me feel special.
All right, so John, as the sole debate watcher, I gotta ask you, how was the Club Mentum that night?
I still don't get it. Honestly, in all fairness to Club Mentum, she was not shaking as much.
She graduated from Chihuahua to
she did honestly
a terrier.
Yeah, she sounded better. She's similar to Pete, where it's just it's a basic politician, right? They just say things, and you're like, yeah, I don't get what any of that meant, but
it sounded nice.
I guess it sounded presidential.
Sounded almost Obama-ish.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
I didn't say anything, but
I genuinely didn't understand it. But as always, they're like, yeah, the major victor of tonight, gotta be Amy Klobuchar. I'm like, I didn't see that part of the debate, but yeah, no, I don't. And it might just be who I am, because I watch mostly for Yang and Bernie. I think they're both pretty tight. But yeah, nothing major sticks out for me with Klobuchar's stuff this week. Nothing major stuck out there. Liz Warren didn't stick out for me. Pete not knowing what decriminalization meant did stick out for me. Yang getting the least speaking time stuck out for me.
Not being in pictures.
Yeah.
Who was that?
That was New York Times posted a picture of this debate on their front, one of their front pages. I don't know if it was the front page, but it had 6 candidates pictured, even though there was 7 on stage. And then they proceeded to leave him out of the picture and then leave him out of the article. So yeah, fuck you, New York Times, for leaving out Andrew Yang. I'm pissed, and if I had a subscription, I would cancel it, but I don't, because fuck you guys.
We already decided, fuck New York Times.
Yeah, and then Tom Steyer, I don't know what Biden's staffer said. I guess Tom Steyer repeatedly attacked Biden for some staffer saying something racist, but he never told me what it was. And I follow the news relatively well. I didn't hear shit about this.
Yeah, that's
so when
news
Tom,
to me.
when Tom Steyer was will you denounce the words of this guy? But without saying them, I'm like, what do you fucking say, dude? Can you loop me into that first? Yeah. I don't know if he should denounce it before you tell me what he said. I'm supposed to trust your word.
It sounds bad. But
yeah, exactly.
I don't know what it
sounds
is.
Bad. I have no idea what it was. And then Biden was just like, yeah, he already apologized.
Said sorry.
That was pretty good. Andrew Yang, least speaking time as always.
How much speaking time did he get?
I think 8 minutes in a 3-hour debate.
Whew.
Yeah.
Man, Pete once again gets the most.
Pete and Club.
Yeah, I think Bernie was up there. I think he was top 3.
Because Bernie was finally getting attacked on stage.
They're attacking Bernie because they see that the problems are coming.
Yeah, it's like, uh-oh.
If Bernie takes off with the first 3 states, it's going to be a real big problem. You want to hit us with that Joe Biden clip real quick?
Let's hit up the Joe Biden clip
Let's spin it just while we're talking general politics. Let's talk about Joe Biden just saying incredibly dumb stuff.
Doesn't sound like him.
Iowa's a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were. Now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little bit confusing in Iowa. Number one. But let's assume it was everything was exactly right in Iowa. The idea that you come in with about half the delegates that the leaders come in with in Iowa does not necessarily say how you're going to win Pennsylvania, How are you going to win Michigan? By the way,
Specifically Pennsylvania, where I'm
Hey, someone does good in Pennsylvania.
How are you going to win Scranton?
In spite of all of this, where the unions have endorsed me in spite of all this, etc. You can't win. You can't win in Florida.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so just think it was kind of like it choppy there for a second, but he asked the lady, "Have you ever been to a caucus?" And she says, "Yeah," and he says, "No, you haven't. You're a lion dog faced pony soldier." I was like, "What? What the fuck does that mean?"
It's gonna be my new Twitter name.
Almost positive that's been taken.
Oh man, I also think I just think like the greatest thing when someone tells you, "Yeah, I have," and you're just like, "No."
Nope.
You're lying.
We looked into it before I asked you
Yeah,
that question.
I'm telling you the truth. Tell me the truth. You're not. No idea who the fuck you are, but you're lying to my face right now, dog. Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
And from just like a quick Google search, that's not the first time he's called someone a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
No,
So,
what?
Yeah.
he
there-
Oh,
did-
it's
he
like
did,
a
what, 2 other
catchphrase?
times?
at least one that I saw, but
That's
it's like,
so
yeah.
How does he only have bad interactions with the voters? How? Like, every time he ends up telling the person, go vote for someone else. Go vote for Bernie.
funny.
Go.
Seeing how much I would have loved just to follow him around in Iowa. Just like, what the fuck did you say to people?
Did you see them
To,
like weekend at Bernieing him like around? Like they're like carrying him out of this like storefront. He's got his like aviators on and he's like not lucid is where he's at. They're just like pulling him by his fucking coattails.
Yeah, I think the Iowa thing was a giant slap in the face to Biden, and I think he's on the steep. If you see his news polling in New Hampshire, it's like 4th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I saw an article today, and they were talking about how, like, 4 or 5 days after the final results are in for the caucus, they're like, he came out and he's like, you know what? If Bernie wins, I'm gonna fight hard for him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That tells us something.
Well, they also, I mean, they have to keep asking that question, even though every candidate's fucking answered it like 90 times.
Yeah.
It's like, will you support the nominee? Yeah. Stop asking me. Like, I don't understand like the patience of some of these candidates not just fucking lose their mind at reporters.
Oh my god.
I would too. If someone asked me that for the 100th time, I'd be like,
Just
yeah. I already said yeah.
Turn into that one Ronald McDonald clip where he freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah.
I'll show you later. It's great.
I was just thinking like the why thing from Joe Biden, but in a less like dementia sort of way. like fucking getting all upset at a reporter, but like actually making a coherent statement. Like
Oh my gosh.
I just thought it would be really funny just as a concept I was thinking about earlier this week was like I think someone should run for president and only answer questions in like 1-word answers. Like
I'm only here so I don't get
exactly.
fined.
That's exactly what I was. That's exactly what I was thinking. Was like,
Does Marshawn Lynch every interview?
you supported decriminalization on your website? Yeah. Cool. Like,
Do you want to expand on that? No.
no, I'm all right. I thought.
Don't even say go to my website. Just say website.
Yeah, website. you fucking Google. It's 2020, dog.
Website.
Look me up. I think within our lifetime we will have a meme candidate.
Oh, for sure.
I think Donald Trump started as a
He's
meme
like the
candidate, and then he
closest to it.
became president. So,
Oh shit! Now I have to do a job.
have you guys seen the Trump like orange face photo this week?
Oh, it's
that
so
was
great.
so
Fake news.
Funny.
Fake news.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious. The best one I saw, the best meme of it I saw was of a guy like using a power sprayer to paint an entire fence that had like a hole in it, and then it cut to a clip of him doing that with a hole right in front of his face. And he was like,
I saw that one too. That was hilarious.
There's a bunch of good ones.
Sorry, that came up out of nowhere, but I just thought
so funny.
if you haven't seen this picture, you should.
Yeah, I was
'Cause
thinking the same
It
thing.
shows
It
where
was-
the orange line stops on his face.
It's so fun. Or the other one was the little girl smiling, looking
Yeah,
at the
at the
camera,
fire,
while looking
yeah.
at the fire,
Yeah.
or while turning away from the fire.
Well, and his tweet was, he's fake news. This isn't a real picture, but look how good my hair looks. It's like, all right, so it's not a
Wait,
real
was that
picture.
his thing?
Yeah, he tweeted in response to
Of
it.
course he
That's
He
responded
called it
to
fake news, and he's like, look how good my hair looks. I'm like, all right, if it's a fake photo,
Then
you're
that's
just like
not your
pointing
hair.
out how
Yeah.
good your hair looks. What's going on here, buddy?
Yeah, that's super funny.
It for sure is. Everyone in the country knows it's a spray tan.
I don't get how you have that amount of money though, and you don't get a good spray tan. You know, like we're like that, like to me that
Just
He's
get
had-
the UV tan.
He's
at
had
that
he's
point.
had
Like,
the
if you're that
same lady
committed.
doing it since like
Yeah.
the 80s.
Yeah, it blows
She's
my
just
mind.
dying now, but he's like, I only trust her.
Yeah, these rich people get like fake hair implanted in their skull, and you can't tell me like.
Look at Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos
became
even.
billionaire, magically grew his hair back. Like, yeah. You tell me you can't get a decent spray tan if you're worth.
I don't mean to veer off topic, so I'm gonna say one thing. I would love to find out how much that actually cost.
$11.
Yeah, probably. Like I bet
it's a banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10.
I bet if you go to the place he went, it's an outrageous amount of money. He's probably just sure, because like we talked about last time, they have way too much fucking money.
Yeah, he might not, but they as a class do. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, not Trump. We're talking about Elon and Bezos.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys seen how busted Cristiano Ronaldo looked before he was rich, when he was like making your typical soccer wages of like $100,000 a year or something like that?
No.
He had these like nasty like jangled up teeth. He had like acne all over his face. His hairline was receding. He literally just looked like a 4 out of 10.
That's crazy.
But like just threw money at it.
He looked like that statue they made of him.
Yeah. With the tattoo the guy got of his face on his tricep. It was all like
just all
messed up.
Yeah. And it's like money.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I don't know.
Isn't that what he's the highest paid soccer player, right?
I think he is now.
Messi? Is Messi still around?
Messi is still around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who makes more money between them.
Ronaldo had some insane hop the other day. I saw like a video clip of him where he jumped like essentially like 2 people heights in the air and headed a ball, and I was just like, yeah, I understand why you paid that much. Like, I get it.
That was superhuman.
Yeah,
right?
He is the LeBron of soccer. Goddamn.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh wait, Obama won an Oscar.
Obama did win an Oscar.
Won an Oscar. What did Obama win an Oscar?
Go into detail on that, John.
There was a Netflix documentary. I think it's called American Factory. It was actually a pretty good documentary. It was it was about some Chinese company who bought like I forgot if they manufactured auto glass or like actual like automobiles, like vehicles, and it was just about how like the Chinese thought all the Americans were like dumb, lazy workers, and like one of the guys was getting upset because like. The American workers refused to just like pick up broken glass with their bare hands, and they wanted like safety protection. So they were like bitching about that, and then towards
bitches.
Yeah, towards the end of it, like a lot of it's about like the spirit. Like the whole documentary, like first half is about like the Americans and the Chinese working together at this factory, and then like the end half spins to like the way that the Chinese are just going to automate all of the jobs away in this factory because like the dumb lazy Americans can't keep up, and a robot doesn't bitch about picking up glass. Yeah. So it's kind of like oh shit, the automation is coming documentary, like slowly but led you into it in a weird way.
And 75% of people looked over the general like.
This summary is based off watching
the story, and they're just like Obama.
Yeah, the summary is based off watching it once like a year ago. So
I haven't seen it.
Wait. So Obama just was in it? He wasn't.
No,
like
he was a producer.
Oh,
he was a
okay,
producer.
Okay. Hey, wow, he's doing something besides jet skiing in the Gulf?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I'd prefer if he just jet skied
in the Gulf. Yeah, straight up, please.
I think
retire.
presidents should not be active at all after presidency. I think it looks
Take
bad.
the Jimmy Carter,
you say that.
Just
Watch when
go.
Trump loses. We'll never hear the fucking end of it.
Oh, my God.
Maybe he'll start that news company.
station.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was the theory before he won.
Trump
Yeah.
news. Oh
that was the theory before he won, that it was all to launch this news
that
organization.
That he was going to lose and then be like, the Democrats took it away from me.
Yeah. Hear it all today at Trump Live.
QAnon News Network.
Yeah. We have to do a deep dive into QAnon one of these weeks.
Oh,
the
man.
QAnon theories are really fun.
QAnon is hilarious. Check out TrueAnon, great podcast.
Is it about QAnon?
I would listen to that. They go into QAnon and then they like go into after they've kind of like you can only do so many episodes on QAnon.
Yeah.
And then afterwards they're like, okay, there are actual like super like pedophile shit going on with people
totally.
like the Epstein.
Yeah.
So they've literally gone on like a 12 episode part like on Epstein. Like they're great. Check out TrueAnon.
I'll
They're
give them
fantastic.
a listen. Yeah, that's cool. I dig that kind of shit.
No, they're cool. But yeah, I think that's it for our
intro
debate
section.
Intro area.
Let's jump into some shout-outs.
Let me go into some shout-outs.
I'll start this off. I would just like to shout out the U.S. Armed Forces, specifically the United States Air Force, for dropping a record number of 7,423 U.S. bombs in Afghanistan in 2019.
Woo!
This is more than
man.
2018, and this figure represents a dramatic increase in bombings in Afghanistan in contrast to 2009 when 4,147 bombs were dropped under Barack. So it's just crazy that we're hearing totally different things, and it's all of a sudden like, oh, we beat our record. That's Trump saying everything he wants to be better at. Better economy, better jobs, and better bombings. It just kind of it was one of those things where
we're the best at everything.
We're the best at everything. You can't beat us at anything. It's just one of those things that you read it and then you're like, shit, but that doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me at all. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. So my shout out, U.S. government for dropping more bombs in Afghanistan than ever before.
That's insane. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to drown out numbers like that, but like
to
think about
7,000 bombs, and I just would like to point out the money. Like it's not crazy to say a Tomahawk missile is $200,000. That's not a crazy figure.
Well, and they crank up those prices just to inflate that industry anyways.
Oh, totally.
Like, it's not the manufacturing cost of that.
When we were having our shit with Iran, like, all the stock,
Northrop Gunrup,
Raytheon, all of their stock prices went way up because everyone's like, oh, war? That's profitable.
Ooh, I can do that.
Some profitable shit.
Say that number of bombs cost, just say $200,000. And I bet they're more.
Yeah.
That's $1,484,600,000.
Yeah.
Just in bombs dropped in Afghanistan.
That's a lot of $20,000 toilets for the Pentagon to write off.
It really is. Like that figure, that just blows my mind because people hear that and they're like, oh, 7,000 bombs. I don't think you realize how much money that is.
One bomb would be a big deal if it went off anywhere in America.
7,000.
It would be a crisis.
That's
about 7,000 in a much smaller nation.
I mean, even
think about the square footage of that. If they drop those all at once, they could carpet bomb the entire country.
Oh, easily. Yeah. I mean, and you think bombs, you think movies where it's like, oh, you see a couple like napalms from like Vietnam or something like that. That's another thing. You don't realize what the firepower these bombs have. Like, it's outrageous.
There's like a subreddit for like combat footage, and sometimes they put like the UAV footage on there, and I've seen it. It's just like you don't exist as a human being when this bomb goes off.
You are vaporized.
Yeah, you're like
literally incinerated, and even in 2009 when Barack dropped 4,000, that's an outrageous number.
Still an outrageous number.
And it's like 11 years later or 10 years later this stat.
Man?
But
I don't want to keep talking about this.
It's gonna make me 3,000.
It's gonna make me sad, but yeah, it's just like, what are we fucking accomplishing? This is
I guess shout out U.S. for not accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
Just fucking around like it's the 4th of July over there.
That's wild, man.
All right, John, you go next because mine is going to lead us off into our stories segment.
Okay, so I was planning to shout out the New York Times for being a bunch of dicks to Andrew Yang. But that got brought up in the first half. So I just scrolled across this picture that is going to be a shout out to Disney Incorporated because they have their Hall of Presidents at Disneyland, you know? And they definitely 100% made an animatronic of Hillary Clinton before the election.
No.
And then, repurposed it to be Donald Trump. So it looks 100.
Oh my God.
It looks like a melting Donald Trump because they took a Hillary animatronic.
Just left it in the oven a little too long.
Yeah. They took basically Hillary's face and made it slightly more wrinkled and with like Trump's yellow hair, and we're like, yep, that's Trump.
That's him.
Nailed him.
Perfect.
You saved so much money on this.
Yeah, at least in the YouTube, we'll put that picture up.
Just move the boobs down to the belly and we're good.
Yeah.
Saving us some money.
Yeah. I feel like that picture's probably floated around for a while, but I just saw it and I was fucking dying. So
oh, that's so good.
If you haven't looked it up, you should because it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, go check it out. YouTube, it's on the screen now.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out Disney. Love you guys.
Fucking Disney, Jesus Christ.
All right, so for mine, my shout out is also going to jump into my story. We're doing a new version of the second half where we each take a story that we find on the internet and kind of, explain it to everyone else here, both of our other co-hosts and to all the listeners. So mine and my both shout out and story goes to a man who who sent a greetings from Thailand postcard to the jail he escaped from months ago. So this guy, I'm gonna butcher this name, but Uwalid Sakaki is one of 5 detainees who escaped from a prison in Turnhout, what is this, Belgium? Yeah, I believe it's Belgium. So 3 of the other people who fled were captured, and they didn't hear anything from the other 2 guys for a couple of months. And then a couple of days ago, the prison gets a postcard from Thailand that just says greetings from Thailand.
That's a fucking power move if I've ever heard it.
That's so some shit Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption would do. That's like
it's so good. Now
5 steps below what he actually did, but that's throwing some major shade. I love it. Greetings.
So the story on this is great. So they climbed over one of the prison walls, hand over hand, just climbed out, escaping in a getaway car that was parked on an adjacent street. And then 3 of them were captured in a nearby neighborhood. The 4th man was recaptured about a month later. And then on Monday, Sakaki sent that postcard to the management of the prison, and he is. You guys aren't going to believe this. His brother is someone who is known as the Escape King from prisons in Belgium. He's escaped 3 times.
Jesus Christ.
Ashraf Sakaki, who escaped Turnhout prison in 2003 and a Bruges prison 10 years ago in 2009 using a hijacked government helicopter.
Oh my God.
That's tight. I've always heard that's the best way to escape prison.
Oh, it is. Fly over the fences.
Yeah, fly over the fences,
And
pick the guy up, fly out, you're gone.
I'll point out one thing to prove how badass this Escape King is. He's for sure in maximum security, at least the last 2. Like, there's no way they're
what
just
does
like...
their
He
maximum
escaped
security
before.
look like, though? 'Cause
Yeah.
I've seen Belgian prisons, and they look nicer than a lot of the
I guess
apartments I've
that's
lived
true.
in. Yeah.
I'm comparing it to, like, the U.S.
Yeah.
is supermax. Like, you're going to Colorado, and you'll never see the outside again.
You go outside for 1 hour a day, and that's also in a cage. Yeah, you can do some push-ups.
But
or
even
some
that,
shit.
U.S. has some supermaxes that you don't see outside.
Yeah.
You stay inside.
They put a lot of
forever.
fucking people just in isolated containment for like years at a time until they go fucking insane. Like that's,
Going to the hole.
Yeah, that's a thing like our criminal justice system does.
So yeah, it literally. So the helicopter flew over the prison, picked up Ashraf and 2 other prisoners, and then flew away. And then landed in a nearby town, literally 2 towns over, stole a car, robbed a service station, and then headed for the coast and evaded
They just
police.
had to rob a service
Honestly,
station.
the real hero of the story is whoever keeps stealing government helicopters. That's like way tighter than like grabbing onto a rope ladder and hoping you don't fall. Like the guy who keeps like, yeah, I can hijack that shit.
I think that might be the piece of shit cousin you referred to earlier. That's the guy that brings the Bible to grandma's house and does coke and hookers on the weekend. That's that guy. That's what he does in the week.
Yeah, that's so fucking cool.
They passed on his postcard, though, Oled's postcard, to local police. what are they going to do?
Hey, sheriff, you want to do something about this?
The Turnhout Police
Can you
Department.
do fingerprint analysis? It says it was from him, but
we've gotta make sure.
yeah.
And
the possibility of how many people touched that postcard
Yeah.
from Thailand.
And so Newsweek was one of the couple places that wrote about this, and they put a little nugget at the very end that was funny, saying about how jailbreakers really love to taunt their jailers once they get to freedom. And they mentioned another person, Sean Davidson, who escaped from the Karabakan prison in Bali in 2017 by digging a tunnel.
Oh, some El Chapo shit.
Digging a tunnel, cool. and went on Facebook, the Facebook page from Phuket, Thailand, to tell his pursuers that he only responds to quote unquote good vibes.
That's pretty cool.
He was serving a 1-year sentence for passport fraud. That guy though, that's great.
That's
Literally,
also
it's
he digs a tunnel in a year. He's just like, yeah, what am I gonna do in here?
I got time.
Yeah.
That is an awesome story.
I think in a lot of those countries too, what I've heard is like, it's not illegal to try to escape jail because they think it's like a basic human instinct to try to escape confinement.
Yeah. So we'll just try and catch you.
Yeah, and it's only illegal if you like actively commit other crimes while doing it. But if you're just like, I dug a tunnel, what are you gonna do about it? Like,
I don't know. I really love this topic, like escaping prison. That's kind of cool. Like yeah, these guys probably did some fucked up stuff. But one of my favorite older movies, it was '63. It's The Great Escape, and they escaped from a POW camp, and it's just a badass story.
That one
like,
I've never seen.
They're so fun.
Tight.
You should watch it. Yeah. These are just such fun stories, and you're just like, how did you fucking do this? Jesus Christ!
I
would die in prison. Like this third day, I'd be that. What do they call him? They actually, I think, call him fat ass. The guy who dies the first night in Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah.
You know the guy in the warden or the second in charge can beat the shit out of him. That'd be me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how these dudes do it.
Well, especially U.S. prison. Like,
oh yeah, am I the only one who like, as much as he's done horrible things, like when I saw El Chapo like climbing over a ladder over the wall and then running down the street, I was just like, yeah, dude, that was kind of awesome.
Well, I also think like the fun part of my brain thinks like I could definitely escape.
I could go to space.
I've thought this through. I could get out. And then the realistic part of my brain is like, no, you get shanked.
Get fucked over for sure.
Yeah. I'd say have a nice day to the wrong guy. And
die. Exactly. Too much eye contact. Too little eye contact.
Fuck up the most simple shit.
Yeah.
Die.
Right.
I do have the arrest papers from or notes on the arrest papers from the guy from the story.
What'd he
that
do?
Just escaped. He was pulled over, and they searched his vehicle and found 25,000 ecstasy pills.
Holy shit!
25.
All right. Personal use. I
Oh,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah. He was looking at having a real good weekend tomorrow.
Hey, man, they were in gallon Ziplocs. That's not distribution.
Those were all mine.
Yeah. I found the Costco of drugs. It was too good of a deal to pass up. Yeah.
I mean, I could have bought 12 for this many, or I bought this many.
25,000.
Exactly. Yeah, it had to be done.
I'm no economist, but that's a good deal.
Oh man!
So,
immediately get tased.
So yeah, that was the story I brought to the table this week, and shout out to you for chilling in the beach in Thailand. I'm sure.
I like it. That's a good. I like that.
I enjoy that. Yeah, they deserve it.
Oh yeah.
We should have a challenge. We should all go to prison, and whoever escapes first gets the title of CEO of our company.
Oh man,
it's a perfect plan.
Good strat. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right, who wants to go next? Whose turn is it?
You want me to go next? Okay, sweet.
All right, John,
all right, guys.
What's your story for the week?
This is the first inaugural edition of John's Conspiracy Corner.
Oh shit!
So
I dig it.
I think this will probably come up once a month or so, where we just kind of look at what's going on in the conspiracy world.
We had pyrotechnics, but we had a little bit of a problem with them. So
yeah.
maybe second of John's Conspiracy Corner, we will light the fireworks.
We're gonna dig into the depths of 4chan for you.
This was by way of Reddit through 4chan.
I was gonna say Reddit is 4chan light.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
The messenger right there.
So the conspiracy we're going to dive into this week is the coronavirus out of Wuhan, China.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so there's some shit going down. Everyone knows, as a broad statement, that the Chinese are liars.
It is.
I'm just kidding. The Chinese government are liars, though, for sure.
Keep in mind, it's February 9th and nothing too crazy's happened.
Yeah.
So
the officially reported numbers are something like 14,000 infections and like 800 dead. This 4chan user came up with this theory and did some research that essentially that in an area right outside of Wuhan, they have a spiked level of SO2, which comes from burning organic matter. And calculating the level of organic matter that had to be burned to raise it to that level, they think that something like 14,000 corpses have been burned in Wuhan, China. Yeah, which backs up the fact that there's also videos in Wuhan of them, like, the military police just, like, shutting down buildings and, like, being like, yeah, we're going to lock them from the outside. and the residents being like, okay, so what if there's like a fire or something? And the police just like, I don't know, call someone about it. Like
it's getting wild over
You
there.
just got water.
Yeah, he's like, call someone about like, there's gonna be a guy down the street with keys, and the guy's like, yeah, how long would it take you to respond? I don't know, try to take care of it yourself. So they're straight up like shutting down like buildings, locking people inside their homes in some cases, and then also like they ripped up the roads out of Wuhan so no one could like take a car to escape. Yeah, which is not a response you do when there's only been like a couple hundred dead in a city, like a multi-million person city.
It's bigger than New York.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Do you have the number on that?
I will look it up really fast.
You
Keep
can Google
talking.
that, yeah.
I'll butt in here and say.
So yeah, if it's a multi-million person city and like there's been a couple hundred infected, you wouldn't full scale rip up the roads out of that city and quarantine a whole city in Wuhan. And then the other part of the conspiracy is some PhD came out and said that the the coronavirus looks like it was genetically engineered, genetically modified. So a lot of people are thinking in the conspiracy world. I'm not saying I believe all this stuff. I'm just saying a little update on what's going on.
We're slightly informed.
Yeah, slightly more. I'm just saying that someone said that it looks like it's been modified, and it might be like essentially a modified SARS virus that the Chinese made as like a bioweapon. Because every modern country, every developed country, especially ones that have a huge military, develop bioweapons, just like game out how to cure them and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times in China and Russia, those find their way out of the lab.
I regret what I said the other day, because I was like, I wish it was 2003 again. But that was just because I wanted to go to a Marilyn Manson concert, not because I wanted SARS to be a new outbreak.
Yeah.
So the numbers. New York City has 8.6 million people. Wuhan, China, 11.8.
Okay. Yeah.
So significantly larger than New York, and they're
and
just
China's reporting like a couple hundred infections out of a city of 11 million. You wouldn't full scale shut down your city and quarantine everyone and refuse anyone exit if there was only a couple hundred cases. So the theory too. Oh, they went to. Investigators called like funeral homes and stuff in the area, and they were essentially saying that like the authorities were taking people straight from the hospital to the crematoriums to get like fucking
no funeral
cremated. Yeah, no wow. Funeral, no nothing, like straight from the hospital. And they were saying that they're overwhelmed, and almost all the funeral homes and crematoriums are like full to the brim, essentially, like all the time. So that's where the conspiracy that steps in, that there's too many dead bodies to actually cremate in like a humane way. So they drug them out into the fields and just like threw them in a pile and lit that on fire.
I'm drawing such a blank. Who is the president of China?
There's not a president. It's a dictator, but Xi Jinping. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start calling him Bane.
No, you gotta call him. You gotta call him Winnie the Pooh. He hates it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, this is not conspiracy related, but people were making jokes that he looks like Winnie the Pooh, and that was like a meme in China for a long time, and it got banned from the Chinese internet that they can't. Like, there's like
do they ban Winnie the Pooh like looking up that image?
I think like Winnie the if you tried to search like Winnie the Pooh Xi Jinping in China, you would get flagged by like the censors.
Come beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, they come beat the shit out of you.
Knock on your door 15 minutes later.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good pictures of his like face superimposed kind of like in yellow onto Winnie the Pooh's body. And, like the communist flag right behind him.
I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I kind of want you to go more in depth on the fact that this was possibly the SARS but modified.
Again, slightly informed, so it was something like that. But there was like they did a genome sequencing, and there was like a middle bit missing, which was they were trying to essentially figure out. I guess coronavirus was like. Yeah. I guess coronavirus was like a virus in animals for a long time, and they were trying to find out how it got like able to be infected in human beings, you know? So there was like a missing section where it looks like someone inserted a chunk of like whatever genome DNA kind of sequencing that would allow it to infect human beings. And another part of this conspiracy, China has like one like level 4 or something like that, like biological facility over there to like deal with things.
It's in Wuhan, right?
It's in Wuhan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in Wuhan. And I think there was some Chinese person in Canada working at like a essentially like a super virus like
biolab.
Yeah, biolab, and they were arrested like last year for sending samples of viruses to China. So like there's like kind of a paper trail that looks like
fucking DX selves.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah. No, it's definitely crazy.
Now, to give a little bit of benefit of the doubt here to this story, that once again, we don't know for sure it happened.
I'm
It's a
just
conspiracy
updating you on the
theory.
conspiracy
Yeah.
world. This is what me and Nick were saying, and this is what I tell people all the time. I don't necessarily believe all these conspiracy theories, but a lot of them are real fun.
They're fun to
They're
listen. I mean,
they're fun to
lot
think
of fun.
about.
and a few of them have some like weight behind them.
A few of them have legs.
This one has it's like when Deadpool got his legs chopped off. Like it's got baby legs right now.
I would
you
say-
know?
I would
like
say-
it's got something.
To me, in my own personal opinion, I think the death count being underreported makes perfect sense. Knowing
It does.
China.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
they,
think
they did the same thing with SARS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think them creating this in a lab and it escaping is the true conspiracy because there's no like super concrete evidence of them burning bodies because like tens of thousands of people have been killed by it, but that would not shock me.
Like
in
if
the
it was
slightest.
intentional, it would have been at the Uyghurs.
Yeah.
Like we know that. But as far as like this happening in the past, like a confirmed conspiracy theory that kind of puts some weight behind this is the fact that after World War II, the U.S. imported thousands
Operation Paperclip.
of former Nazi scientists.
Yep.
One of them left his government commission job to live in the Sierra Nevada mountains, where he spent 6 years of his life doing nothing but developing the best disease he possibly could. He created Lyme disease in a cabin in the Sierra Nevadas, released it into ticks that spread across the entire continental U.S. Like,
That's crazy.
Like, that's a real confirmed conspiracy theory. That happened.
This is for sure. I mean, I saw a video today of people being chased. Like,
Yeah.
you have coronavirus, like a SWAT team in China is chasing you down,
Yeah, 100%.
tackling you,
Yeah.
and they're like, you're going to go to this prison, and if
Yeah.
you don't have it, just because you have a slight fever, you're going to get it. Because I read it, I forget the numbers, but it was, I believe it was in the 60% of people who have it got it at hospitals and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like they didn't
there's
have
like
it,
an
they just
insane
had a
infection rate,
fever,
yeah.
and that's
They
the
go to the
that's the
hospital
one
where all
telltale
the other
sign. Everyone's
infected
just got
people are.
laser thermometers. Like, oh, you're a degree higher. You have it.
Yeah.
And then you go and you don't have it, but then you actually fucking get it, and it's
Because
a death
you're
sentence.
being held
Yeah.
with people, yeah. Like,
It's also officially like the official reported death rate from this I think is like 4%, which is like high, but it's not like insane.
Yeah.
I also think that number might be flubbed.
That number is
because
low.
if they're underreporting this many deaths, that artificially decreases that number.
Well, I mean, look what they're doing all around the world. I mean, you have I think it was a Princess cruise, and they've been trapped on 7 days after they were supposed to get off this ship. They're just trapped in their rooms, and there's nothing they can
Which
do
is
about
what
it.
China's doing to people like in their homes though. Like
A city larger than New York City.
yeah, that's insane.
Like, we're talking about 11.8 million people.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less because they've burned some of them. But
yeah.
11.7 million.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my conspiracy corner for this week is that the coronavirus is widely underreported and China is burning people in the streets. No, in a field, but still.
There's nothing Pol Pot about that at
nothing
all.
Yeah.
too crazy.
Yeah,
just in a
nothing too sketchy.
field.
Oh, just vaguely too, because Nick mentioned the Uyghurs earlier. They said that like if this virus continues to spread, like the Uyghur population might be like the most hard hit by it because they're essentially already in concentration camps where like one person gets sick,
it and
yeah,
everyone
everyone's
gets
gonna
it.
get it.
Yeah.
There's like essentially no health care. Like there's not a lot of like good hygiene practices because they're like imprisoned without it, you know. So like
And
so
this-
that would be a group that if they get infected, you're talking like 1 million people.
The scary thing is there's really no end in sight.
No.
I mean, it's not like, I mean, and a lot of countries have just cut off, the U.S. being one of them, has cut off all flights. They're just
Yeah.
like, you're done. And anyone, the State Department pulled a lot of people from, I read that there's a couple people who stayed behind, you know, just because they had a new wife and child or something like that.
Yeah,
and,
they
you know,
had
they're
to.
not just going to fucking leave.
Yeah.
And those people are being quarantined for 2 weeks. So this has no end in sight. It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
And it's been made a meme, and some of them are pretty funny.
This is
But
the only way to react in 2020, though. It's like,
it's
we're 2 months in, a month and a half into 2020. We've already had like almost World War
The brink
III
of
with
World War
Iran.
III,
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Coronavirus. Kobe Bryant dies out of nowhere. Like it just felt like kind of the start to a shitty year.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
how else do you respond besides laugh and joke about it?
Oh man. And that's what we're here for, folks.
Yeah.
Keep tuning in.
We're here to lighten the mood. So, yeah, that's my conspiracy corner. So I think we'll toss it. McLean, you're next?
Conspiracy corner number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's not a conspiracy theory. Mine is actual scientific data. That the hottest temperature ever recorded in Antarctica was measured Thursday at a remote station on the continent's northern tip. So,
hey, how hot was it?
Wait, hold on. But which northern tip? Every tip is the
wait.
northern tip.
I have a bit. How hot was it, McLean?
It was 65 degrees.
What temperature does ice melt at?
I think 66. So I think we're still in the clear.
I think we keep drilling, boys. I think we keep drilling for oil.
We probably still have a little bit.
Burning fossil fuels.
So this surpassed the previous record of 63.5 degrees on March 24th, 2015 at the same location. Keep in mind, temperatures at this specific station go back to the 1961. I also read that this is the climate in this region is climbing more than any other place in the world. There's no other place in the world where you can say in the past 10 years and the past 20 years, it's climbed 5.4 degrees. It's the fastest warming places on Earth.
Yeah.
It's outrageous, and I mean, John and I had a conversation about this today on how fucked we really will be if the sea levels rise even 10 feet.
Well, they said that if the Antarctic ice shelf essentially melts, that would raise global sea levels by 10 feet. Awesome. Now, as a person who used to live right outside LA, I have been to Malibu, and a lot of those homes are about 15, 20 feet above sea level. So they're not going to fare too well.
And sorry, New Orleans.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're sorry.
They're below sea level.
You're
there's a lot of places on the continent that would not fare well, globally would not fare well. I think there's like crazy stats, too, that's like 50% of global populations live within like 10 miles of the coast.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if that just kind of erodes.
So
that's where
this
trade
is
routes
interesting
started.
because
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's where major cities. Yeah.
I've never heard this, but CNN says, all told, Antarctica's ice sheet contains enough water to raise global sea levels by nearly 200 feet. So if it all melts...
That's fine.
Yeah.
Sounds fine.
Yeah.
We're
no.
Hey,
pretty fucked.
beachfront property in Utah. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Utah property, pretty cheap still. So
I also want to say a big fuck you to the people joking at Andrew Yang after the first debate when he said get people to higher ground. If this actually happens, we're pretty well fucked, boys. And I think one of the scariest things on this topic is like the more like the ice sheets have had like trapped CO2 in them essentially. So the more ice that melts, the more CO2 gets released, further exasperating the ice that melts, the more
which will
CO2
melt.
release. Yeah. So it's like a feedback cycle in the worst possible way. Where like once this ball gets rolling, I have a feeling we're gonna get fucked real fast.
And every aspect of the climate change, stuff that's going on is a feedback loop in that way. Everything that changes that will negatively affect that will lead to stuff that will further increase the rate of it. So it's exponential. Check out YouTuber Potholer54. Fantastic work on this. But like there's no stop in sight. There's not like we'll lose Malibu, we'll lose San Francisco, people will move to higher ground. Yeah. Ben Shapiro, sell your house that's underwater. Like, to who? Fucking Aquaman? Like,
I want to point out one more thing. That the temperature at this station in Antarctica was practically identical to what it was Thursday afternoon in San Diego, California. Now, keep in mind, it's technically summer down there.
Yeah.
But summer
Still
in
not
Antarctica
good. Yeah.
should not be the same as winter in California. No. Hell no.
Am I
just should
mistaken
not
in
be
thinking
happening.
that the hole in the ozone is in the northern hemisphere too?
I think that's mostly been patched by now.
Really?
Yeah, I think they actually did a good job because I think it was like the shit that was in aerosols, like biofluorocarbonates or some bullshit like that.
Oh, I'm wrong.
All
it
the
was
crazy
directly
shit from-
over Antarctica.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that might have been the old, and the one to your left is the new on the top right part.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, we're kind of fucked. And it's going to hit a point where all of a sudden New York's underwater and everyone's like, oh, shit. Some people might actually have been right.
We have to
for the
displace
past 40 years.
millions and millions, billions of people, and
It would be
including some
billions.
rich people.
Yeah.
Because
Just wouldn't be happy.
What rich people live in fucking Ohio? Not many.
They will moving forward. I mean, they'll be fine. It's the poor people who are going to get fucked.
Yeah.
Like, That's how it always happens.
All right, so that's that. I mean, there's not much we can talk about more on this. We're fucked. We need to do something about it. No one's doing anything about it. So
I think like chances are humans, like some humans survive. Chances are we don't learn our lesson from this. And then
we'll have to wait until the next ice age.
Yeah.
And the most like black-pilled response to this is like where people are like, well, this naturally happens where populations on Earth of all animals grow too large, and then something happens because populations grow too large, and it kills massive amounts of population. And then that depletion of that population will then, restabilize the Earth's, economy, atmosphere, everything, it'll just kind of bring it back to normal. With billions of deaths, there's no way to do that in a clean way.
No.
Like, we're literally
so fucked up.
Eco-fascism is going to reach an ultimate rise. We're going to have so many, the Philippines, Indonesia, every country that's an island nation, Hawaii, everywhere that there's no high ground for, they will be moving to inland mainland USA, to high ground in Europe.
That's not even the most black-pilled. The most black-pilled is we're going to invent our way out of this.
Oh, God.
That's the most black-pilled response.
Tech.
Is like,
we just have to invest in the tech industry, and they'll save us.
It's happening, but what we have to do is invest in CO2 harvesting and things like that. And it's like, it's not just easier to move to electric? Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, like
that's such an American idea. Like, don't use a pencil. Let's spend $1 million inventing a pen that works in space.
Well, that's where like the argument shifted over time. At the beginning, it was like it's not happening. Not like, and then it switched to like it's happening, but humans aren't responsible for it. And now it's switching to we might be responsible for it, but we're already too far gone. There's no way to stop it. And then switch
stop
to
letting people into our country.
Yeah, exactly.
Invent new ways
to harvest CO2. Yeah, I mean, I do think ecofascism is going to be a big thing in the coming decades if this is all as bad as it seems to a lot of us. Cause
it's not looking great. I mean, your chances are.
Shout out to our Thanos did nothing wrong.
but yeah. Like, if we elect anyone besides Bernie, or for some reason fucking Steyer is big on climate change, but anyone that's not like making that a primary issue, Yang, Bernie, and Steyer, like we're fucked. We have we had 10 years 2 years ago.
We didn't have 10 years 2 years ago though. We're 20 years too late. What the 10 years 2 years ago was saying we could keep it from rising past. I think it's like 2 degrees.
We're already fucked.
But we're already fucked, but we can keep it maintained.
And they put that as kind of like the threat level midnight kind of thing.
Exactly.
If we get to 2 degrees higher, we won't be able to control the water, the sea level rise,
and like the amount of life in the sea that's going to die, and the amount of people who like survive off of like eating sea resources. And just like the way crops.
We live in a delicate ecosystem, and letting things just die on a mass scale like this is not going to get us anywhere.
Nope.
It's also again though, like back to like somewhat black-pilled, is it's not gonna matter. I mean, everything's gonna be fine except us. Like, the world will recover, everything will be chill. There just might not be humans on it.
Fuck.
Yeah, or there will be, and there'll be the global elites with AI servants.
It's true. Well, cool. Let's throw this over to Nick, and
Nick, wrap us up.
All right. Well, this has been another great episode. We didn't plan a chaser ahead of time, but on the article for my my story with the escapee from prison, they do have a highlight video of El Chapo escaping prison cell in 2015. Should we make that our chaser and head out with that?
Sure.
We can do that, chaser. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll try and see if I can plug this into the video version of this podcast on YouTube, but that might not be possible because this isn't on YouTube. So if not, enjoy the audio and us commenting on it, and we'll be back in a sec. Oh.
Technical difficulties.
Sorry.
We can cut this out.
Look at your TV screen right now. This is on the search for fugitive drug lord El Chapo, okay? Pay close attention to this video. Mexican authorities have just released this closed-circuit video from inside the prison showing Joaquin El Chapo Guzman in the final moments before he broke out. So he paced back and forth. You saw that. And then in his cell. And then he goes around where the toilet is, and you see the dramatic moment. There it is right there. Well, El Chapo disappears into the tunnel. There he is. Now he's gone. At least 49 people have been questioned in connection with the escape in Mexico's Interior Ministry.
That's straight from the TV show Prison Break. He escapes through the back of his toilet.
And other prison officials. The dramatic moments just before or just when El Chapo disappears into a tunnel. There it is, right there on your screen for the first time.
El Chapo, like, as much as you're kind of
fucking animal,
like, mad respect for getting out of prison. What was it, 3 times?
I think 3
times. It was at least 3 times before he was finally extradited to
it's Mexican prison, though.
One of them was a U.S. prison. In Texas.
Really?
That was the one where he climbed the wall with a ladder.
Okay.
And he landed on the other side.
I think he's in like solitary in the U.S. now, right?
Yeah. Because he got out of the prison in Texas, made it back to Mexico, and then was arrested and extradited before he could escape.
And then we were like, Supermax, bro.
Yep.
Escape out of this shit.
Not anymore.
Yeah. you're not seeing daylight.
You're in a padded cell, bitch.
Prison.
All right. Well, this has been episode 4 of the Fuck Pete podcast. I mean, slightly informed. If you want to check us out on YouTube. We got Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everything. Look out for, should be releasing very soon, our debate podcast, A Pub Divided. And we debate sober, get fucked up, and then debate again.
Drunk as hell.
So, yeah, cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, love you guys.
Love you guys.
Later.